Hello, this is Christine Guerrero, and it's time for another Kids Grab and Go episode. For the month of February, we are going to be making friendship bracelets. You can get supplies for this craft at the Bettendorf Public Library during open hours. We will have 250 bags and we will give them out until we run out, so get yours while supplies last. This is my grab and go bag, so I'm going to open it up and see what's inside. Inside you will find written instructions with pictures on how to complete this craft. You can use these as well as this video to complete your project. Last of all, just a couple other things. You're going to have 2 strings that are about 5 feet long. This is so you can make one bracelet for yourself and one for your friend. So let's see how this craft is made. Okay, so here we have our 5-foot piece of string. Now about 9 to 10 inches from one end of the string, we're going to form a loop. And you can kind of guess how much that's going to be. We just want to leave one part of the string much longer than the other. The important thing to remember is that the longer portion of your string is going to go over the top of the shorter piece of string to form the loop. And then the longer piece, you're going to make another loop and pull it through the previous loop, just like so. And instead of pulling the string all the way through, we're gonna stop. We're gonna pull it tight, and now we have a loop. And we can adjust that by pulling on the long string, just like this, so we can make it smaller. Here's the loop up close. What we're gonna do is we are going to take the longer string and we are going to make another loop and pull that through the bottom of, again, that previous loop. We're gonna start to see a very easy pattern here. You're gonna pull it tight, and once again, you might need to adjust by pulling the long string so that loop can be smaller. And we're gonna do it again. We're gonna pull through this top loop here, a loop from the long string, and pull it tight again. You can start to see we're going to be making little knots. For those who have done crochet before, this is actually a crochet stitch. We would consider it a chain. We are just not using a crochet hook. Again, we're gonna pull it through, and that loop, we can adjust it as we need to. Now, if at any point you feel like, oh, I don't think I like how that stitch turned out or that knot, we can just pull on the long string and we can undo it and we can start again. The thing I like about this multicolored string is that, especially for beginners, it's much easier to see what you're doing if you have a string that is different colors. So here we go again, pulling that string through, not all the way, just to make another loop, just like that. And I'm gonna keep doing this until I get a portion done that is about 3/4 of the wrist that it is intended to be worn on. So for me, I'm just gonna use mine as the guess here, but obviously people are going to have different sizes of wrists and you may need to adjust accordingly. The 5 feet of string is probably going to be a lot for most people's wrists if you have a child-sized wrist, but we wanted to make sure that if you were making maybe your other bracelet for a parent or another relative, that you would have enough string. Right now I'm feeling pretty good about the size here for my own wrist. So I am going to do the last step for making this chain. Instead of pulling a loop through, I am going to pull the entire string through and make a knot. And now it is secure, just like that. So a lot of people, when they're making a bracelet, will just tie the ends, in a knot around that person's wrist. If you want to keep it on all the time, that's a fine thing to do. But I have a way that you can make an adjustable bracelet so that you can take it on and off as you please. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually take these two ends, kind of form them into a circle here, overlapping. And depending on how small the wrist is, you might want to make them pretty close together so there's not much adjustment, or more depending on the size of the wrist again. So I'm gonna make mine pretty small because I happen to have pretty small wrists for an adult. So I'm gonna go about like right here. Now this is the tricky part. I'm going to, where these two strings cross over, I'm going to pinch down with my thumb, and I'm going to take the other string and I'm going to wrap it around kind of in a loop so I can see it really well. Once and then twice. So if you guys can see that, I have two loops around the other string. I'm going to take the end of my string I made the loops with, and I'm going to pull that string around and through. And that's going to make a little adjustable knot. Now, as you go, you may notice that you need to adjust these, and that's fine too. If you need to make them closer together or farther apart, you can always kind of loosen up this knot and pull it just a little bit tighter. Okay, now I've got this adjusted to about the spot that I want it to be. I'm going to do the other side. So again, I'm gonna kind of just pinch here. I am going to wrap two loops, and it helps to kind of hold them in place with your thumb and pointer finger. Just like so. And then I'm going to take the string back through those two loops, just like this. Pull it tight. And now I have two adjustable or movable knots so that I can make this quite loose and take it off, and I can make it tighter when I want to be wearing it. The last step is that we're going to tie some knots here just to give it extra security here and to make sure it doesn't fray on these ends. So I'm going to tie just a basic knot about 1 inch or less from the end of the bracelet, just like that. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, trying to keep it kind of even. Looks pretty good. And obviously we have a lot of extra string. For most people, you're going to have a lot of extra string, but that makes it easier to work with too. So that's okay. We're going to use our scissors at this point, and we are going to snip the ends. And now we are finished with our first bracelet. And as you can see, I'm very easily able to get this on and then be able to adjust it, tighten it so that it fits more closely to my wrist. just like so. And there you have it. Now the next bracelet that you will make will be for someone else, so it might be a different size. You might have to adjust it a little bit differently. But now you have what you need to be able to make some pretty cool friendship bracelets. And I'll show you, I have made one for my daughter, who has a much smaller wrist. Here it is right here. And as you can see, it has the same adjustable knots here so that she can take it on and off as much as she wants to. And adjust it as maybe her wrist grows so she can keep it for a long time. And now we have matching friendship bracelets. We hope you enjoy making your own friendship bracelets. For the next month, the month of March, we are going to be making lucky rainbow necklaces. Until then, bye!